Testing. 1, 2, testing. Testing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. Drum pad work today. I can do it on a snare drum, which you should do, but for teaching and for communication and for hearing me explain the lesson, we're going to go to the drum pad. By the way, this is a off-world percussion drum pad. It's called the Outlander. Good drum pad. Gives me a feel of a snare drum. The rebound. Well, if you've been following me, ouch, oh, you do understand that my primary source for instruction is the stick control book. And I've come up with a ton of formulas and interpretations and references and substitutions and eliminations. But don't forget to do it the way George Lawrence Stone wanted you to do it at first. That's the objective. Anyway, I've done this lesson a couple times, and I'm going to do it again because I had some requests. And beside that, somebody posted a video of Joe Morello doing single strokes and double strokes and paradiddles. So I've come up with a formula. And when I say a formula, I reference off the book as R becomes something and L becomes something. So in this case, I'm going to make R equal 4 single strokes in 16th note formation, 1, E, and A. And when I come to a left, I'm going to make it equal double strokes, 2, E, and Da. So if I had 4 rights in a row, if I'm looking at the stick control book, I'd have 1 E and A, 2 E and A, 3 E and A, 4 E and A. And if I have 4 lefts in a row, that would be doubles. 1 E and A, 2, 3, 4 E and A. So if I combine those two, 1 E and A, 2 E and A, 3 E and A, 4 E and A. That's what you come up with. I've come up with. So, you know, you do page 10, 11, and 12, and they're combinations of single strokes, you know, in eighth notes and sixteenths, and in double strokes in eighth notes and sixteenths. Oh, excuse me. So I expanded on that. So if I did, for example, with that formula, R equals single strokes, L equals double strokes, and I do line 1, this is what you come up with. 1. Now, I'm not blowing my brains out here, I'm just doing it slow. So on and so forth. That's number 1. Number 2 starts with the left, so you're going to start with doubles. Okay, number 3, 2 rights, 2 lefts. So you have single strokes, 1 E and A, 2 E and A. Then the 2 lefts, 3 E and A, 4 E and A. Now the object here is you want to do this in the different sticking positions. I would recommend first start it off in a full strokes. E and A, 2 E. That's line 1. 3 E and A, 4 E and a. Okay? Line number 3 in full strokes. Well, you stay with line 1 in full strokes. Put your timer on for a minute, put your metronome on, whatever tempo that you're comfortable with, and then take a different sticking height. Half stroke, you should be able to play it a little faster. But notice my sticks are coming down and coming back to the same starting point. Now that's theoretically the laws of physics. I'm coming down from one spot with the right, one spot with the left. When I make impact, it should sound the same. And by doing it slow, you kind of adjust. If one's a little louder, you try to make that adjustment so both strokes are the right. Oh, why am I sleeping? The right stroke and the left stroke are equal in sound. You don't want to hear. That sounds terrible. And the closer you get to the drum, the faster you can play it. And it's all page 10 and 11. Okay, now we do the paradiddle. I like that one. I like to do that at a variety of tempos and sticking heights for maybe 5, 6, 10 minutes. Have a variety of tempos. And it's good for your hands. Absolutely. So I do line 5, nice and slow in this position. 1, E, and a, 2, E, and a, 3, E, and a, 4, E, and a, 1, E, and a, 2, E, and a, 3, E, and a, 4, E, and a. Do we understand this? Any questions? Boy, I need that coffee. Oh, where'd you go, coffee? There you are. Any questions to this point? Where I'm getting the exercises from? Now, this is just one way to do this. And, you know, if you have double pedals or double beaters or two bass drums, you do it with the feet as well. I don't have my double beater set up, but I'm going to show you a few different ways to take this and make it a lot more fun and productive and fruitful as well. So what I like to do is, instead of using now my right hand, I'm going to use my right foot as the lead. Take these sticks off over here. I'm doing actually line 1. Instead of doing it here, I'm putting it here. Or I can, instead of just doing it, I could do it in harmonic coordination. Harmonic coordination means 2 voices or maybe 3 voices that are hitting at the same time. Oof, wake up. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my right hand on the ride cymbal, my left hand on the snare drum, my bass drum, and my hi-hat. And if I did line 1, we get that? Now there's no PDF on that. I'm just expanding on the exercise, this one. So now we're doing it between the feet. We can get 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. and drop the left hand on 2 and 4. The backbeat. 1, E, and 2, E, and 3, E, and 4, E, and Okay. Hey, John. Glad that you could make it. You have what, an electronic kit? I guess you have your reasons for that. You know, maybe you live in an apartment, or maybe you just don't like acoustic drums. I don't know. But anyway, you just get here, or have you see what I'm doing with the stick control book, the interpretation? If not, I'll start it again. It's not a problem. I'm taking a stick control formula. Did you get a PDF? Okay, it's a good exercise, and it just shows you, you know, the stick control book, in my opinion, is the ultimate book. You know, it's everything you need to know is in that book. With some imagination and some creativity, you're in business. Where I left off just now was, you know, instead of doing it between the right hand and left hand, I did the substitution. I made the right foot. Instead of the right hand, I make it the right foot. 1, E, and That was the first right. Then the left would be. It's a good exercise. And do it with a metronome and do it for a long period of time. Then we just did it harmonically. So I'm doing line 1. Instead of playing 1, E, and I'm using the ride cymbal. 1, E, and And my bass drum is playing when my right hand plays, and my left hand plays, my left foot plays with my left hand. 1, E, and 2. And then as a coordination exercise, well, they're all coordination exercises, but you know, you take it into a funk pattern, I guess. You can play the right foot and left hand, 1, E, and or 1, E, and the right cymbal, and 2, E, and 3, E, and 4, E, and. So you could expand on that. Who's this? All right, you just got there, John. And what about you? Who's that? Don Perlman, how are you? Hey, this Sunday, I'm doing another live stream with some of these timber drum pads. And you put there's 3 drum pads, and they're very melodic. And I have the owner of the company coming up here. We're going to demonstrate it. We're going to do a live stream come Sunday at 3 o'clock. So if you like, just put on your calendar, and we might give some giveaways away. I'm not sure. We'll see what happens. But the pads are really cool, man. You know, and I'm going to demonstrate the differences of the real feel, the off-world percussion, the Remo, and now the timber pads. And just show you what's out there, what I do with them, and what I could have fun with. Okay? All right. This is not a difficult exercise. It's a fun exercise. You know, you do the stick control book. So now you're doing it here. And now you got line 1 between the bass drum and snare drum. 1, E, and 2. I did line 3, 2 E and a 3, 4. I like the harmonic one, and I'd like to use my hi-hat as opposed to my ride cymbal, like uh, oh, and by the way, who's this? Really? No, I was not aware of that. Hmm. It should be coming through both channels, John. Anyone else having that problem? Don, are you having that problem? Good to see you, Don. John is telling me that the volume is only coming through the right channel. How is that? Let me see. So, Don, are you having that problem as well? You're on your phone. Hey, John, maybe you have that speaker off. Well, I don't know what to do about that right now. I mean, you're the only one that has said that. I apologize if you're not getting the correct sound. But anyway, what I'm going to be doing tonight, right, this is just an afternoon lesson I do on Mondays and Wednesdays. Tonight, you can come to my site, and that's mattpatellallivelessons.com. And all right, I have to investigate that. Thanks for making me aware of that, John. On my site tonight, we're going to try to do the pattern for Sissy Strut, a little funk. And if anyone needs the PDFs for this particular lesson, email me. My email is so, John. If you don't have the PDF, John, email me. I'll send it to you. There's 2 sheets on it. It's just my interpretation of a different. Like I said, I have a ton of ways to, a ton of formulas from the stick control. I put them in a stick control book formula, the stick control formula room on Facebook. So, you know, but if you want, and you're going to, see, I can't even talk today. If you're going to frequent this platform, I have you on my mailing list, and you will get the PDFs. But anyway, what I'm going to need from everybody, some requests. You know, it's difficult to do this because I've had a certain crew from day one, and I try not to repeat myself. But then I get new people, and they don't know what I'm talking about, so I got to go backward a little bit and do some lessons that I've done in the past. Like I've been doing this like for 3 years now, maybe 4 years, and just recently in the last month I've been repeating myself. I haven't to this point, but I have to. Anyway, like I said, I have a ton of formulas, interpretations, references and eliminations from the stick control book. I use that in my teaching. I use it for funk, for reading, for four-way coordination. And what I've had just recently was a request for linear concepts, a lot of linear. And what I've done is I've come up with this one particular exercise which I totally, really work on a lot. And what inspired me to really create this was Elliot Fine, Marvin Dahlgren's four-way coordination. And, you know, I met a few people on Facebook who have studied with Elliot Fine, and he passed away a year or two ago. And I make comments like, see, I'm the type of guy that's honest and say, and I tell people what's on my mind. I'm not diplomatic whatsoever. So what I say about four-way coordination is it's stick control book on steroids. I don't mean that in any derogatory sense. I mean that in a good way. The book is iconic, four-way coordination. It's difficult. But when it first came out, you know, it looked like, you know, you needed to play the xylophone or the marimba. So it was difficult and it was new. So what I've done is I've taken the stick control book and I set up a platform to develop limb coordination. Okay? My next book, I don't know. Randy, I don't know. Let me get to you in a minute. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to go back to the stick control book as opposed to, you know, doing the hand exercise. Randy, you just get here, Randy. We're doing the hand exercise. I spent a little time on that. I want to get to this one particular thing. I have the PDF on this. So if you want this PDF, email me. You don't have it. And it's a four-way coordination exercise. I'm interpreting from the stick control book. I'm in 8th notes, or you could be in 16th notes. I prefer to go in 8th notes at first, which I'm interpreting the first 5, 6, and 7, line 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So every time I come to 1 and 3 and, I make it the top. When I say top, I mean the hands, the right hand and left hand. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to assign my right hand a voice. I could assign it my floor tom-tom or my ride cymbal. So it's more standard to say the ride cymbal, okay, as the right hand, and obviously the left hand, the snare drum. So every time I come to 1 and 3 and, if it's a right, it's going to be my ride cymbal. If it's a left, it's going to be my hi-hat. Okay? Right hand, left hand. So I'm going to do line 1 and 3 and. I'm going to eliminate the 2 and the 4 and first. So I have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Again, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now when I come to 2 and 4 and, it's the bottom. If it's the right, it's the bass drum. If it's the left, it's the hi-hat. So now I'm going to play 2 and 4 and only on line 1. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now notice I try to get a nice chick and a nice clean sound out of that hi-hat and a constant tone out of the bass drum. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now we put the top and the bottom together for line 1, and we have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now I'm thinking 8th notes. Now I can take the right hand and put on the hi-hat. All right, I can have 1 and 2. I'm going to start to get a little funk there. You hear the sound? The funk will start to come in. All right, then you have line 2, 3, and 4. I like line 5 the best. Okay, I'm going to do line 5 like I originally said, the right hand on the ride cymbal, the left hand on the snare drum, the bass drum, and the hi-hat. Nice and easy. We have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Or take my right hand, put her over here. Excuse me. 1 and 2 and 3. There you go. Have a lot of fun with that. Let me do that again. I was screwing that one up. I'm sorry. Here we go. Now, whoever is familiar with the book Four-Way Coordination, can you see the similarity and why I say the stick control, the Four-Way Coordination is the stick control book on steroids? Can you see how it's very closely related? And also the next step on that one would be harmonic. Harmonic means every time my right hand hits, my bass drum hits. Every time my left hand hits, my hi-hat hits. So I'm doing the paradiddle. Slow it down. Now, 1. Up tempo a little bit. That's line 5 harmonically. If I combine the line, and I did, that was a cross harmonic. That's the next move, would be the cross harmonic. I don't have time to do all of that, but tonight, my site, we're going to be working on Sissy Strut. I don't have the PDF ready. I will send it out though. Here's my site address. That is at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. John, I'll send you the PDF. Email me. Randy, you got it. Don, email me. I'll send you the PDFs, man. I hope everything's okay, Don. Are there any questions, gentlemen? Don't forget, Sunday, 3 p.m. Yeah, how is that tornado, man? Oof. Be careful, no driving. And the tornado is going to interfere with the internet, I think. So I hope you can get to the site. 7:30 p.m. Sissy Strut. Now I can't play the song on line, only because it's copywritten. Let me talk to you about that job. Thank you, Randy, for the compliment. I had a lot of fun. Those guys are really nice guys. And I felt pretty honored to be there with those amazing teachers, because they are amazing. And so is Joe Candace, man. He's like a really nice guy. I met him live at a Delaware drum show. But the story I told it's the truth. When I was a hotshot kid and I first started to study with Joe Morello, 25, 26 years old, I told him, you don't swing. What can I tell you? But that's what I told him. And little did I know, I knew nothing about music then. I just knew how to play cover tunes, Santana, Proud Mary, play that funky music, white boy kind of stuff. And I had no idea of concept, of structure, and ostinato patterns and all that good stuff. And after I told him that, we became really good friends because I would give him shit about that all the time. Morello swung his ass off, and he did it in odd times. The guy was a master. Okay, with all that being said, any questions? No questions? I'm going to try to make the lessons a little longer come starting next week, and a lot more less talking rather, and a lot more demonstrating and information. Questions help me help you understand. It helps me understand you, what you don't understand. So all the questions, please, please do that. Okay, with that being said, I'm going to need to sign off. You guys have a good day.